What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Here we are sitting at about $481. It is the 7th of January, the first week of January, coming to an end. Closing above the ribbon, looking really good, you guys. This kind of look here where you go below the ribbon and you come back to it as it's getting this cross, but importantly, the most important is that you're closing above it. That suggests that likely we will get some continuation of this move to the upside, and we'll likely flip this ribbon bullish and have it expand upwards, right? And likely all of that together would take us to prices that are above this high here, right? And if we're doing that, if we're going to go above this high, what we could do is take from a relative high here to a relative low here, measure out based off of this, and those targets give us anything from about 732 to 870. This is our primary expected zone. If we look at BCH on kind of a grand scale like this, looking at it for what it is, the consolidation that we're measuring from this high to low, it's kind of small, right? It's nothing big like this high to low, right? This high to low is rather small. When you measure small high to lows, like this one here, the primary zone is an expectation, but oftentimes you will come in contact with the secondary zone, and that secondary zone is anything from $994 to $1,430. So I certainly do suspect BCH interacts with this zone by the end of this next move up, if not higher. It could go higher. It's less likely that it goes higher, but again, 1,700 to 1,800, 1,900 is on the table. It definitely is. But that all starts here. That all starts with this closing above the ribbon and getting some expansion going forward, right? We close above 530. That would also be a nice look just based off the fibs there. But looking at this here, looking at the RSI, also I guess worth mentioning as well, closing this month green, and the further green we get, the more solidified that this ribbon, for the first time in Bitcoin Cash's history, will close bullishly crossing. And I want to take a moment real quick. I know I talk about this all the time, but I want to take a moment to talk about it real quick, okay? What this means, you guys, and the reason why we talk about it all the time is not just because to me it says, oh, this is a good thing in the chart, it means we're going up. Like that's great. It's exciting. Yes, the monthly ribbon crossing, getting above it, pulling back to find support on it, and then moving up while getting the cross that you've never had before in your life and breaking out of a downtrend, or not a downtrend, but a downward sloping resistance line, a consolidation phase you've been in your life. Doing that in culmination together is phenomenal. It's bullish. From a charting perspective, it gets me all kinds of, it gets me going, gets me riding, man. But what this says, if this was a story, if the charts could speak to us in words, why this is exciting is because what it's telling us is this, right? The crypto markets have not known what to think about Bitcoin Cash. They haven't. They haven't. There are people in the BCH community, the Dragon Riders, who are full gung-ho BCH people, B-Cash, B-Tards, whatever you want to call them, right? We're those people. But the rest of the market, they're either haters of Bitcoin Cash, or they're not certain. They think we're crazy people, right? Or maybe they don't think we're crazy, but they're just not certain. They don't want to get involved, right? It's kind of a taboo subject, or weird, or even frowned upon somewhat, or at least it was back in the day. Maybe not so much these days. It's turning a new leaf. But to be a Bitcoin Cash supporter, right? This whole time, the reason why we're in this consolidation phase where we're not moving up or moving down, right? We're no more in a downtrend moving with higher lows than we are in an uptrend moving with lower highs, right? The reason why we're in this I don't know what to do with you kind of consolidation phase is because the average market participant doesn't know. Is Bitcoin Cash legitimate? Is it a ripoff of Bitcoin? Is it a wannabe Bitcoin? Is it a scam Bitcoin, right? Like that was kind of the sour taste that was left in the mouth back in this time for Bitcoin Cash. We molded over this time. People kind of forgot about it, thought it was dead, right? And now there's some hope. There's some new life. There's some new people in the markets. And Bitcoin Cash, this is its third technically bull cycle that it's been around in. When we break above this consolidation phase, what it says, what Bitcoin Cash, what this chart is saying with its words is that it's been validated. As a market participant, or from a market participant standpoint, the crypto market says, I approve of you, Bitcoin Cash. There's more to you than meets the eye. You might not be a scam Bitcoin. Maybe the market doesn't agree with all the Bitcoin Cash people and say that Bitcoin Cash is better than Bitcoin, even though it is, right? If they don't say that, it's just because they haven't seen the information. But if you look into it, it doesn't take much digging at all to figure out which Bitcoin's faster, which Bitcoin's more decentralized, which Bitcoin is not, first off, hijacked, right? Which one is more true to the actual source idea behind Bitcoin. Bitcoin and Satoshi's kind of dream for cryptocurrency, right? There's all these things, and it is faster, right? You want to go ahead and send Bitcoin anywhere if you want. You can hold it if you want. I used to hold predominantly Bitcoin back whenever I started getting into crypto, but I would always, if I ever sent coins from exchange to exchange, it was either with Litecoin or with Bitcoin Cash, always, because it was faster and it was way cheaper. And that's still the truth, and it's always the truth now. It doesn't take a lot to figure out which one is the better Bitcoin. People can say BTC is the real Bitcoin, BCH isn't. What if they want to say that? That's okay. That's not the truth. They don't understand like what the definition of a hard fork is, but that's fine. Whatever. If they want to say it's not the real Bitcoin, that's fine, but it is the better Bitcoin. It doesn't have to be the real Bitcoin. It's the better Bitcoin, and it does adhere more to the true nature, the true meaning of what Satoshi had in store for Bitcoin. I'm getting off topic here. I'm not trying to tell you guys things you already know. What I'm trying to tell you is that's what this means. You break out of this, that's essentially what the crypto markets are telling us, is that they agree, they hear us. They're not saying that, okay, this is the better Bitcoin, this is going to overtake the world, and this is the real deal, we've been wrong this whole time. No, but it says there's more to Bitcoin Cash than meets the eye. That's more than what we gave it credit for. It is legitimate, it is building, it is useful, and it's being used, right? And that's what this is telling us, right? Because this is that kind of I don't know consolidation phase. If we were breaking out of it to the downside, Bitcoin Cash is this failed project, failed attempt at another Bitcoin, a better Bitcoin that it just got forgotten about. It's a song that we no longer sing and dance to, you know what I mean? But this one is like, hold up now. This is actually kind of a catchy beat. I can dig this. I'm going to bring this to the next party I go to and show my friends. And they're like, yeah, I like this too. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to show, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of my perspective. Whenever we break out of this, it's the market, the crypto markets. It's not just us at this standpoint. It's the crypto market validating us, right? And us validating us as well, right? Every Bitcoin Cash person that calls himself a BCHer, they probably bought in this area, right? So definitely buyers in this area are what sends it up here, but I think it'll just validate. I think this would be the market saying, hey, I accept you, Bitcoin Cash. And now that I've said that painstakingly for like 5 minutes, let's do the TA, guys. Bullish on breaking out of this consolidation phase, bullish on getting the monthly cross, bullish on Bitcoin Cash and the acceptance and recognition that it probably will get in culmination with all of these things that's going to happen. Watch it just be under a new light, man. It's going to be like, I don't even know if I should say it, but kind of like Trump, right? I feel like Trump in his first term, the media painted a horrible light on him, and they still do, but it's different. It's kind of different this time around, right? If you know what I mean. If you've been paying attention, it's almost like they're taking it easier on him. I feel like people are going to take it easier on us. I don't know if that makes any sense. Maybe I'm reaching for it there, but let's get away from all the nonsense and start talking about TA, man. Bouncing off the weekly 50, it looks beautiful. Higher lows overall, love it. I think you're going to go into the overbought zone. The last time that you did a move like that, this was your move that you saw. Boom, right here, going from about 345 all the way up to about 645, $200 move. From here would put us up. Well, that put us. Is that right? 340. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a $300 move. $300 move would take us to about $700, $800 right now. It would probably actually, right, $300 from here would be $780. That would take us above this high. So if we saw the same move, if based off of this RSI, if we saw the same move here that we did here, that would take us above this high. So by definition, very likely we wouldn't see the same move. Likely this next move is bigger and stronger, which is the overall expectation. But I just think this RSI paints that light. It kind of shows that, because again, what I'm saying here is the last time that we were in the RSI from this level and we went to the overbought zone, this was the move we saw. Not a far stretch to draw the idea or imagine the idea that bouncing off the same area, going to the overbought zone, could you see a similar move? But the next kind of conclusive thought there is, if you saw a similar move, it would be above this high. If it's above that high, then what you're really doing is playing off this overall move from a high to a low off of these extensions where you go somewhere between $936 to $1,300. And you absolutely could and likely do go higher than that in time, right? But I think $936 to $1,300 is our next target area by the end of this month. Going into February, March, we could probably talk about 1,700 or higher, but we'll see whenever we get there. I certainly think that when we close above 644, that's when it's time to party. That's when it's time to get excited. When we close above $644 on any given day, that's when we can expect prices around, if not likely above, $1,000 over the coming weeks after that, right? We close a day above 644, mark my words, man, 2 to 3 weeks we'll be above $1,000, probably at like $1,300 or higher even. We're at 479 now. RSI on the weekly looks phenomenal. That was not what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. 3-day time frame. Also looking fine. Yeah, looking fresh. Daily time frame. Looking all right. 4-hour time frame. Looking, you should have broken out already, I think. You should have done it. You might come down a little bit is what this tells me, and then try again later. So maybe today we pull back a little bit. You're at 479 now. Maybe you pull back down to like 470. 473, but then you move up maybe tomorrow or later today. I suspect that we will move up soon enough, back up toward $500, probably, if not by the end of today, sometime tomorrow is my expectation. And then, of course, over the weeks, we're moving up a lot higher than that. Looking at BCH here on the daily time frame, looking at it on the MACD, we did have a cross in the oscillators below the zero, pointed upwards now, looking to get back above that zero. That would be nice. It wouldn't be crazy at all, and I suspect that before we do get these oscillators back above the zero line here, above this area here, you likely will see another drive of red in the histogram, right? So what I suspect is this. We'll probably move up. We'll move up to here at the 0 point with this histogram. It'll turn green, whatever, and then it'll roll over. As it rolls over, our oscillators will roll over, bounce off zero, we'll form a higher low, we'll get that red in the histogram as well, while forming a higher low in the oscillators, and then on that next attempt up, we'll break above the zeros, we'll start forming again, we'll die off in negative momentum, we'll start building in positive momentum, and we'll have these oscillators getting above the zero. That likely will culminate, at least on a daily basis, all along the lines of the next move up, okay? But what this is telling me here, at least, if it's just painting that story the way that I'm thinking it is, likely we don't see it happen now. We have a little bit of time, maybe next week, maybe next week, if not the end of this week. Likely, at least though, a day or 3 of consolidation, if not more, is what I would expect. Here you are on the stochastic RSI on the daily, pointed down in the overbought zone as well. So coming down a little bit might make sense. Sometimes these times where we come down, they're not that intense, right? You can kind of top off. I don't know if that's a good example. Top off here, right? You pull back and you have a kind of intense seeming drop for a little bit, but that's it. And then you move back up, right? Might not be the best example. I don't know, something like this even. Yeah, you're overbought and you pull back, right? You get all the way down here and then boom, all the way back up. You see a nice kind of continuation of this overall move here, whatever, something like that. Let's look at the weekly. All I'm trying to say is it wouldn't surprise me if, we're at 479 now. Before we break above $500, we saw a move back down to about 450, 470, somewhere in that area. A little bit of a correction from here. With the stochastic RSI, it's a bit different than the regular RSI. You don't tend to go from here and find support at your 50. You tend to go from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top, from the top to the bottom. That's normally what you do. You don't normally find support or resistance at the 50, though. When you do, that's a positive or a negative sign. But looking at the 3-day time frame, 3-day time frame looks like it's getting ready to move up, but it's not quite there yet. This cross is nice. We got to get it into that zone. So in the meantime, we could see a little stalling. We have 2 days and 20 hours left in this. So let's just see. It doesn't have to be this 3-day time frame, but maybe the next one that we really do start taking things up, which again, that agrees with the idea that maybe it's by the end of this week or sometime early next week that we start this move up above $500, right? Or getting up above 640 and beyond, of course. And then the weekly time frame, actually, I want to look at the MACD real quick. MACD looks good. It might suggest that you go a little bit lower as well, though, right? With the daily one, you're coming up to find resistance on it and then probably looking to break it. This one, you might come down to find support on it. You don't have to go right to it, right at the zero. You can find support just a little bit above it, but something like that. Get another drive of red in your MACD histogram, but it'll be a higher low, and maybe you get. I don't think you're going to close a week below 430. It's possible, I suppose. But what kind of drop would that bring from a high to a low? I suppose it's possible. I don't know. I don't think you get that. To get a lower read, so maybe you don't get a lower read in the MACD. That's okay, though. Weekly. 3-day looks like it's about to rip. That's the main thing on the stochastic, right? We're here, right? We're about to rip. Whenever we were here and we got into the band, that was on this move last time, right? We were down here bouncing off of it. That was at the base here. And then, of course, whenever you get to these higher readings above the 50, it looks like it's more common to bounce on the 50 on this 3-day time frame. So that's kind of good to know. When we saw readings like this, that's when we really got moving. So down here, not ready to move, but we're getting close to breaking out and seeing some movements up. Weekly time frame, MACD looks great. Actually, the fact that it's pinching in like this, I doubt that you cross. That might be the signal that we're ready to continue moving higher, right? I wonder if we have an example of that. Kind of, not really, nothing really. That's okay though. We don't need an example. I mean, maybe stuff like this, right? Back here, yeah, stuff like this, right? Could be getting ready to move, or just because we're not quite there yet, maybe we do consolidate again this week. This week we just, before we break out and move higher, we kind of just stall another week is what this could suggest, right? The weekly stochastic RSI forming higher lows, bouncing off of this 30 area, which isn't necessarily the most common thing to do, but hey, you've done it before. You know, you've done it before here, just like this, right? I mean, maybe you do it here. That'd be nice, but hopefully we can get this thing to cross up. We need some green weeks to close green. I don't know, man. I was just trying to offer some other analysis, other opinions based off the MACD and the stochastic RSI, but I feel like this video went on way longer than I wanted it to. So hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I do think that the stochastic and the MACD, they agree with what the RSI and what the price action, what the general analysis is saying, is that we are moving up in a short amount of time. It's just in the rather immediate terms, maybe we move back, maybe we correct. We're getting ready. We're just not quite ready yet, but soon enough. Probably not today, probably not tomorrow, but within the next week, if not sometime next week, I think we'll be moving up. So that's all I got to say. If you like the video, hit the like button. Bye-bye. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.